So this morning I was talking to my wife and she said, you know that like I've been talking and you haven't even responded in the last like 5 minutes. And I was like, I know what you're talking about. She's like, what am I talking about? I said, you're talking about Sidekick. She wasn't talking about Sidekick. I didn't mean to say Sidekick, but I must have just had Sidekick on the brain. And so here's the deal, because we gotta talk about it. It is changing the game in youth ministry and in youth ministry presentation softwares. And so let's check it out. You will be seeing right here, if you're watching along on YouTube, you will see my Sidekick screen. And so what's amazing about Sidekick is it's very similar. It's got a very similar vibe right here to like Pro Presenter, right? Like I love these features. You can just very simply, just like, drag and drop different slides, different graphics. And so I created this leader lunch slide. I got these talk cards off of Download Youth Ministry, link down below in the description if you want to grab your own copy of them. But then within them, right, like what I did was I created a wheel that we would decide which question was going to be answered by our group leaders. So let me just show you, just like you build any software, if you use Pro Presenter or anything like that, you can very easily hop into your presentation software and you can just grab slides like this. You can drag and drop them in and you'll be good to go. However, in this particular case, I want to share with you some of these things that I am geeking out about. So right over here, this additional kind of screen, let's just call that like our projector. And so you hit this green present button right here, right? And a whole new window pops up all in Google Chrome. So I'm just gonna drag that over here to this other window, name picker, okay? And so in this particular instance, I'm gonna end this presentation so I can show you, but in this particular instance, I put all of our leaders names in here as they RSVP'd for our leader lunch. And so what I did was, as they were coming into the room, I just had this title slide up here that says welcome, but then I turned the sound off and I just rotated their names. And so as they walked in, it said welcome and their names were flying through. But then any leader who actually RSVP'd to the lunch, because we're trying to up our leader engagement in these things, I actually gave them a gift card, which congrats Amanda, you win, that's my wife. I did, however, on Sunday when I ran this, I actually cycled right here this name so that it wasn't Amanda, it was somebody else that won. And so then as they're walking in, I was like, oh, I can't let my wife win, that will look suspicious. Though, we could have used an additional $5 to Sonic. It's tough out there in this economy, but this time Michelle won, all right? And so you can do that. You can edit all the names just like before. You can change the sounds. You can add those things in. You can also bulk edit. And then right here, right in Sidekick is where you play it. And I would be doing this right here on my laptop, and then the presentation screen, the projector is over here doing its thing. But then I wanted to get them talking. And so what's cool is right here is my wheel, but I was able to shrink it down. I'm gonna go back to editing. So I'm gonna kill this presentation window. But as I'm editing, right, look, I can make it bigger. I can make my wheel smaller. I can edit what's on there. I can edit the questions. I can edit the text on there. So if I don't want to say one and I wanted it to say an actual something, like they win like a hat or a shirt, or in honor of DYM, a llama, or just like a sticker, or maybe just nothing. Who knows? And maybe I'm not feeling it that day, and so I can save it, and then there it is. But then when I'm presenting, it is right where I want it to be. And similar to old school Sidekick, I can see what's coming next. I can see it's a hat. If I don't want it to be a hat, I can just cycle it through, or I can add to my pre-selected here and put a different item here. I definitely want it to be llama, and now if I want pre-selected, I hit llama right there, and now let's see, instead of nothing, it's gonna land on llama as predicted. But here I have the questions, and so same thing, I can be like, yo, I want it to spin randomly and be like, out of these 4 questions, I actually want you to answer question number 3, which is, if you started your own podcast, what would that be about? Give leaders a few minutes to talk about that. One of my other all-time favorite features in Sidekick is the live voting, which is amazing. You'll see right here linked at this video here, I did a bracket style thing. It's one of my favorite ways to kind of interact with students, and we're actually getting ready to start one here in March to kind of lean into March Madness. But what's amazing is I used to have all these voting options have to take place via social media, which I probably still will, because that's part of the hybrid nature of leaning into executing and using the other hours of our week to engage students. But now we can also vote in the room. And so if I pull open my 7-year-old looking iPad here and I just simply scan this QR code, it takes me here and it allows me to answer this question of who is my favorite youth pastor. Of course, it's gonna be Nick, and yeah, that was correct. But what's even cooler is, like, check this out, is you can reveal the correct answer, you can hide it, you can reset the voting there. But if I go back just very simply here into the editing panel of it, I can, there's all kinds of different options, right, that I can do with it. So like I can ask the question, I can change the answers, obviously. I can show the QR code, I can turn that off. I can show live results as they're coming in. I can answer the format by percentage, or I can do just like strict number. And then as those are coming in, you can actually reorder them by vote as they're popping in. And along in here with some of the advanced settings is I can change the correct answer. So if they get it correctly on their 7-year-old iPad tablet here, it can be like, you are correct, sir, and or ma'am, or whatever I want to say. And then I can say, do you even know anything about this? Or I can just be polite and be like, I'm so sorry, you're wrong. So whatever you want to be, you can adjust those things and then boom, present. But here is actually one of my favorite features about this is I right here can actually, on my 7-year-old iPad, I can run this sucker. Like on my own, I can use my phone, except in this case, because of course my phone is being used to film this. But if I'm here on the presentation, you'll see I'm actually on different Wi-Fi. So I'm on my staff Wi-Fi here and I'm running this presentation off of my hotspot because my staff Wi-Fi is not working too well back here. And so right, like back here, I can start pick me and I can welcome all the names. I can also see who's gonna be, and I can re-roll this sucker. And once I do that, I can make sure it ends where I want it to end. And so Lauren wins. And then I can go up here to the next slide. I can select and see what my wheel is going to be. And like in one case last Sunday, there was a question I didn't want them to answer. And so I actually was like, I don't want that. And so I went down here and I re-rolled and I selected it so that it would end on a different question. So it went from question number 2 to question number 4 now. If you had to tutor someone on anything, what would that subject be? And in addition to that, you can add down here, you can add speaker notes. And so as you're going through on different slides, you'll see right here, I could have added speaker notes so I know what to talk about and I know what will come next on the next slide as I go forward a slide and as I do all these different things. And look, here's my speaker notes. So have you ever thought about the question, what do you need? Then field some answers from the crowd. Then my thought, maybe you would say nothing. And then next, what? So I love Sidekick. Sidekick is amazing. You gotta try this thing out. Pricing, links down in the description. But guys, this is absolutely changing the hybrid game so that you can use and lean in to phones, which are often considered a culprit for distractions and all those things in student ministry. It doesn't have to be. We can use them and redeem them for good. It is one of the best, most powerful, robust tools out there. And here's the thing, it's just in development right now, so it's only getting better. You gotta check this thing out. Give it a shot, give it a whirl, give it a try, and we will talk to you next time.